The universe is perfect. The universe was not created by dumb forces, is composed of supreme intelligence, and it knows exactly what it is doing. Now, Mother Nature and the universe cannot be said to have a brain. This is true, but both Mother Nature and the universe are entirely made up of consciousness. Consciousness could be described as an energetic awareness. So even though Mother Nature and the universe does not have a zeroed in, individualized, singularity point of consciousness, they are still made up of consciousness nonetheless. Consciousness is everything. Consciousness is not just regulated to things that have bodies and brains. Mother Nature and the universe have awareness. They are alive. They are consciousness. The universe and Mother Nature are not just dumb forces that lucked into being. And we know this because the universe and Mother Nature continue. And we know that because they're continuing as we speak. That means that all laws of nature, all laws of the universe, are all in favor of sustainment, of continuation. If there was even one law of the universe that was in favor of non-sustainment and discontinuation, then it would have happened a long time ago. But it never happened. It is still not happening. So essentially, what is happening in the universe and Mother Nature is perfect. The universe is perfect. Nothing less would be acceptable. An imperfect universe would be nothing less than total, complete annihilation. So any and everything that goes on in the universe has a functionality, a purpose. There's nothing that goes on in the universe that does not contribute to sustainment and continuation. There's nothing in the universe that's going to stop the universe, to hurt, harm, or hinder the universe in any way. It is all beneficial and it all lends towards continuation. And so there are many people out there that say, because there is suffering, because there is loss, pain, death, that this is somehow an indication of stupidity or incompetence. And this is because you have a narrow-minded, selfish viewpoint. You are sucked into the details of the universe. You're not seeing the bigger picture, and you have an ego that takes itself seriously. And because of this is why there is suffering in the world. This is why there are such extremes in the world. Let go of all that, and all suffering and extremes will cease. They will all fall out of being. So there is nothing that is not beneficial to consciousness. Despite all the horrors, the pains, the sufferings, everything is designed to steer consciousness into the right direction. All pain and suffering within consciousness, within the universe, energetically speaking, is an untanglement of a knot of energy. A knot of energy is when a consciousness gets caught in singularity and stays that way until it untangles itself and merges with the whole. So no one is really in the position to pass judgment on suffering. Never mind questioning whether or not it should exist. If it is right that it exists, it does exist. And if this strikes a chord with you, then you should really do something about it. Help alleviate and lessen suffering. People that question and complain about suffering ultimately end up doing not a damn thing about it. In fact, they only add to it. To question the trials and tribulations of consciousness is pointless because the whole point of conscious individualization is trial and tribulations. It's very much like you're playing a game. And what I've said so far can pretty much equate to games. When you're playing, say, a video game, everything within the game is set up so that you can ultimately excel at the game. Video games have code, rules. All games have rules. The universe and Mother Nature could be said to be made up of code, similar to the code that makes the video game possible. And this is why Mother Nature and the universe is impersonal, because it's just code. And because nature is impersonal, that makes it kind of silly when people worship Mother Nature, Earth, or the universe as a god. They are just impersonal laws, a program code. Revering it, paying homage to it, worshiping it, are not going to elevate you in any way. They are not going to put you in the good graces of nature and the universe. Elements of nature and the universe can be manipulated and utilized by mankind, and the way that this is done determines whether the things that mankind tries to manipulate and utilize in nature will either harm him or help him. And the way not to get harmed is to discover what the laws of nature and the universe are, and then harmonizing with them. They are simply laws that can be discovered and explored through trial and error. And that's how people get better at games, through trial and error. So should a game not be played because there is trial and error? Isn't that the whole point of the game? To talk about a world where there's no trial and error, no trials and tribulations, no suffering or hardship, is to talk about a video game where there's no object of the game. Like a game where you operate in an environment with nothing to do. But then you still may complain about the suffering and the hardship. Why is it necessary? Why can't it all just be about rewards, happiness, pleasure? But this is like a game where you gain points by doing absolutely nothing. A game where you just go around collecting rewards and bonuses. Rewards and bonuses do not mean a thing without the process that leads up to obtaining awards and bonuses. So if one can equate that life is pretty much like a game, and all games have codes or laws, then you should also be able to recognize that all codes or all laws of all games are engineered by intelligence. And intelligence engineers games for the process of trial and error, continuation, progress, and accomplishment. And Mother Nature and the universe play by the same laws. They are made up of the same code, designed by intelligence. So Mother Nature and the universe are not just dumb forces that stumble around and luck into things. They are forces that are perfectly engineered by supreme intelligence, and they know exactly what they are doing. It is you who does not know what you are doing. So check yourself before you check the context. If you are trying to check the context from a perspective of self, then you really have no business checking the context yet. Only those who have obtained the outside perspective are in a position to check the context. Individual egoism is not the outside perspective. And you know what's odd and ironic? Is that people that have a beef with Mother Nature and the universe, that are upset, discontent, angry, complain and point out what's wrong, that are very pessimistic and critical. To be in the position of one who criticizes and points out what's wrong indicates that one wants to change things and make things better. But to try to make things better with hostility, anger, discontentment, hatred, or malice is really a form of tough love. And that's what you're dishing out, is tough love. Unless you're just self-destructive. If you're angry and critical and all you want to do is self-destruct, then there's nothing that can be done to help you. But if you're angry and critical because you want things to be better, then your hurtful approach must be chalked up to tough love. And yet all things within nature and the universe that you're angry about, discontented about, upset about, are all forms of tough love. One who dishes out tough love should be able to take tough love. But one who truly takes tough love will no longer want to dish out tough love, will no longer want to be in a position of dishing out or taking tough love. But few get to realize this because they are too busy struggling with it, struggling and getting entangled in ego, greed, desire, and attachment, which ultimately leads to an addiction to the struggle.